Students, welcome to the video of the vehicle maintenance and garage practice on the chapter number 2, that is measuring instruments. Right, in the last lecture we saw about the maintenance types and the different procedures that is required for the maintenance. Now in this chapter we will learn about the different instruments which are required to measure or to inspect different components of the automobile. Right? Whenever we need to measure or inspect the component, we will require certain types of instrument to measure that particular component. Right? So for that, let's start the types that is required for measuring instruments. The types to measure the different aspects, such as first, the measuring instruments that is required to measure the wear. Second is the measuring instrument that is required to measure the speed. The third one is the measuring instrument that is required for the fuel consumption. Now these three are the major components or the major aspects that needs to be measured whenever we are doing the inspection of the vehicle, such as first the wear. Now in the most of the components of the automobile, there is a wear and tear between two components which are meshing together, such as in case of the engine. Now in case of the engine, there is two components always meshing with each other. They are developing the friction between each other, right, such as the piston and the cylinder wall. Whenever the piston reciprocates in the engine, they always create a friction between them, and because of that the wear happens. So due to the wear, the size of the cylinder changes, the size of the piston changes, and with that the clearance between them changes. So we need to maintain that clearance so that the vehicle runs smoothly and there are no problems in that. So that because of the problems considering the wear of the different components of the vehicle, we need to measure the wear of the certain components. The second thing is the speed of the different components, such as the speed of the engine, the speed of the wheels, right, the RPM of the engine that we see on the dashboard, right, the RPMs we are seeing on the dashboard. The odometer has been given for the speed, right, and the tachometer has been given to see the RPM of the engine. Right, from that engine RPM we are getting the power to the wheels, that is brake power. Right, the RPM of the wheels will always be lesser than the engine RPM because there are many different components in between the engine and wheels and tires, that is the transmission system. The next thing is the fuel consumption. Right, again the fuel consumption is an important factor. Right, it defines the average of the vehicle. How much fuel is consumed when we are driving the vehicle is an important factor. So for that the fuel needs to be measured, the consumption of the fuel needs to be measured based on its volume or based on its weight. So that will be also seen. The fourth thing that needs to be measured is the vibration in the engine. Right, the different components creates the vibration in the engine, and that vibration needs to be absorbed so that the vehicle driver and passenger feels a comfort in the vehicle. Next thing is the instrument required to measure the noise. Now noise has been created in the engine, also in the different components the noise has been created, but due to the different isolations provided in the vehicle, the noise doesn't reach to the compartment of the driver and passenger. Right, so because of that, that noise is important to be isolated so that the driver doesn't feel a continuous noise or large noise in his ear, and the comfort needs to be provided. And the last thing that needs to be measured is acceleration of the vehicle. Right, now the acceleration of the vehicle is generally the pickup of the vehicle. Right, whenever we drive the vehicle, we want our vehicle to has a good pickup. Vehicle should run smoothly when we start it. So that will also be measured. So these are the major aspects that needs to be measured whenever we are inspecting the vehicle. Now let's start with the measuring instrument that is required for the wear. Now in the graphics below or in the background of the video, you can see that there are engine that is reciprocating, and because of that there is a wear between the two edges of that. So because of the wear there is tear of the material of the cylinder, and because of the tear the clearance continuously gets increasing. So because of that the measurement of the wear is necessary in many other components of the vehicle and many other components of the engine. For that there are certain common instrument that is required to measure the wear. The first is the steel ruler. Now we have always used the steel ruler from our childhood, from the school days, right? But it is not an precise or accurate equipment, so it is not generally used. The second thing is the feeler gauge. The third one is the vernier caliper. The fourth one is the dial indicator or the dial gauge. The fifth one is the bore gauge, and the last one is the micrometer. Now all these instruments will be learned in the detail next. So let's start first with the feeler gauge. Now what is feeler gauge? The feeler gauge is a small or thin type of strip. That strip has been marked with its dimension of its thickness. Now the given thickness strip will be entered into the clearance between the two components. This clearance can be measured easily with the help of feeler gauge. If feeler gauge slides easily into this clearance that we are measuring, then the clearance between these two components will be equal to the thickness of the feeler gauge. If the feeler gauge slides pretty easily, then we will enter another feeler gauge which is higher thickness than the earlier one. So whichever feeler gauge goes easily in and comes out with a little bit force, that shows the clearance between the two components of any component of the engine that we are measuring the clearance for. In the figure below you can see the feeler gauge has been used to measure the spark gap. Right, the spark gap is an important characteristics, and the value of the spark gap should be proper so that the vehicle can be driven at a required power. If the spark gap is too much, then the intensity of spark will be reduced, and if the spark gap is too low, then there are chances of the short circuit in the spark gap, and because of that the uneven starting of the combustion can be happen. So to avoid that, the spark gap needs to be measured between the two electrodes, and that can be measured with the help of feeler gauge. Now in the background of the video you can see the feeler gauge is used to measure the valve lash. Now valve lash is also known as the rocker arm gap adjustment procedure. Right, in that we can see the feeler gauge is been entered between the rocker arm and the valve head, and if the feeler gauge is entered properly in that, and it can be easily outwardly side it can be kept out, then the feeler gauge gives the value between the clearance of rocker arm and the valve head. Right, so with that one example has been shown which is used for the feeler gauge measurement. The second thing is the vernier caliper. Now in the case of the vernier caliper, you can see a small illustration of the vernier caliper has been shown. The vernier caliper can be used to measure the outer diameter as well as the inner diameter. How to use the vernier caliper has been shown in the illustration. In that the two arms of the vernier caliper will be fitted around the component which needs to be measured. The main scale will give the reading of the centimeters or in the inches, that is 2 in this we can see. Also it matches with the fourth line of the 2 inches. With that we can see on the auxiliary scale or on the secondary scale, whichever line matches with the line of the main scale will give you the third quadrant, or we can see from the figure that the value of will be 2.4, and the seventh line matches between main line and the secondary line, so that the value of the measurement will be 2.47, right, that is in the centimeters. So this is how the vernier caliper is used to measure the value of the outer diameter of the given component. In this second figure, we can also see the digital vernier caliper, right? In that, we don't need to do the complicated procedures of the measuring that scale of the primary scale and the secondary scale. Whenever we match the two ends of the vernier caliper, the value of the outer diameter will be displayed on the screen of the digital vernier caliper as seen in this figure. Next is the dial indicator. Now the use of the dial indicator is to measure the runout or the wear happened on the symmetrical path. For example, the wheel disc. If the wheel disc has been run out, then the wear or the surface of the wheel disc will be measured with the help of dial indicator or dial gauge. The dial indicator will be placed on it and either the component will be rotated or the dial gauge will be rotated, and the indication in the dial gauge will be measured whenever we are rotating that component. The pointer of the dial gauge should not reflect too much or should not change its reading too much, otherwise there is too much wear on the surface, right? In the second figure we can see the example of the dial gauge used to measure the runout on the brake disc. Right, we can see here the brake disc has been measured for the wear on it or the runout on it by attaching the dial indicator, and we can see the pointer has been moving with the rotation of the dial gauge. But certain movement is allowed in the dial indicator because we know that wear will happen in almost all the components of the vehicle. So we are giving the certain tolerance to that, and that tolerance is allowed. Now the next one is the dial bore gauge. Now the dial bore gauge is almost similar to the dial indicator, but according to its name, the use of the dial bore gauge is to measure the bore diameter of the cylinder. Right, what is the cylinder bore diameter? So cylinder bore diameter is the internal diameter of the cylinder, and that will be measured with the help of dial bore gauge. Why to measure the cylinder bore diameter is because that whenever we are running the engine, there is continuous friction between the piston and the cylinder. So with time, with gradual running, with gradual kilometers of the vehicle, the cylinder wall will be weared, will be teared, the diameter will continuously increase, and also the diameter will unevenly increase, right? At one place the diameter will be higher, at other place the diameter will be lower, considering the friction happening with the piston. Where the friction is more, the wear will be more. So that will be measured by the help of the dial gauge. The dial gauge comes in the set with the fixed diameter strips that has been shown here. That diameter strip will be matched with our original cylinder bore diameter, and that will be connected to the cylinder bore gauge. Now let's see the procedure for the measurement. In the graphics below of the video, you can see the bore gauge with the strip fitted on it entered into the cylinder bore. While we are entering the cylinder bore, the pointer should not move too much. If it is moving too much in both the direction, then the value of the wear in the cylinder is considered as too much. And for that, the next procedure that is required to repair the cylinder will be the cylinder boring process. And after that, the new piston set or the new cylinder liner will be fitted in the engine for the engine overhauling process. The next thing, that is micrometer, right? You might have heard about the micrometer as well. So the accuracy of the vernier caliper was 0.1 millimeter, but in case of the micrometer it is 0.01 millimeters, right? In the case of the micrometer, the end or the ratchet will be rotated so that the micrometer will be closed and the component fitted in between will be in the close proximity of that, so that from that the outer diameter of the certain component will be measured by the help of the micrometer. In this also the primary and secondary scale has been given, and we can measure the value up to the 0.01 millimeter in case of the micrometer as well. Now in the graphics behind you, you can see that the micrometer is used to measure the outer diameter of the crankshaft journal, right? The crankshaft journal diameter is been measured by the micrometer. You can see in the video as well. The micrometer is opened first, then it is fitted on the journal, and the ratchet has been closed until the proper fit is obtained on the journal. After that, the reading from the scale has been obtained, and we can get the diameter of the whatever component we are measuring. In this figure, you can see the micrometer used to measure a certain block. The outer diameter or the outer values of the certain component will be measured in this. In that, the value of diameter can be measured by attaching the micrometer ratchet. In that, the 4 millimeter on the scale has been showing. On the secondary scale, whenever we rotate the secondary scale diameter, the point of the 14 matches with our scale. So our value of the diameter will be 4.14 millimeters. The last thing that needs to be learned is the depth micrometer, right? It is another subtype of the micrometer. The depth micrometer can be used to measure the depth or the height of the certain component, right? So in the background below, you can see that the depth micrometer is first zeroed out on the even surface. After that zeroing, the micrometer will be placed on the surface that needs to be measured the depth, and whatever the depth of the micrometer, the shaft will be come out from the micrometer. When it touches the surface, the value will be measured from the digital screen, and we don't need to look out for the scale in this. The digital screen will show the readings of the depth of our certain component which is required to be measured. So these are the components or these are the instruments which is required to measure the wear in the vehicle, right? In the next video we will see the measurements that is required for the speed. Thank you so much.